The LYB podcast is sponsored by Fight Energy. Fight Energy is your all-in-one health drink. You have nootropics, 0 calories, 125 milligrams of caffeine, as well as your daily dose of vitamins to keep you feeling your best. You can order Fight at danityfitness.com. Make sure you use code LYB for 25% off. And we're even going to throw in some travel packs for any purchase. And let us know, are you team strawberry or team blueberry? And when you drink Fight, make sure to tag Danity Fitness 1 on socials to share. Hey everyone, welcome to the LYB podcast. On today's episode, we have Miss Tammy McCormick. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm good. You look fabulous, by the way.
Thank you.
Your hair is bomb. I love it. You look so
I hope
good.
so. I'm a hairstylist, so it needs to look bomb.
Exactly. No, so tell me, okay, you were best friends with Shauna. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, and so how did you guys meet? Because I don't really know a lot about you. I think you've come to like one of my Danity Fitness events, right?
Yeah.
It was like a photo shoot or something, yeah?
It was, yeah.
Like on a rooftop.
Yes, it was.
And like, I was just like, I don't even know. It was so cool actually. And I love the concept and everything we did. But I was just thinking about that. I was like, I wonder if there was anything else that I had known you from. But was that the first time you met me?
I think that was it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I've just met you through Shauna just
Yeah.
that one time and just been following you always and always love your stuff and everything you put out. But I met Shauna maybe 7 or so years ago.
Okay.
We met working out together at Burn Boot Camp.
Oh, okay.
And we just became instant friends.
I love that.
And of course, she started spray tanning me and
Yeah.
doing her hair. And her daughter dances. My daughter was a dancer.
Okay.
So we just had a lot of things in common.
I love that.
And we just hit it off and
Yeah.
have been best friends ever since. And like I said, talk just about every day.
I love
her
that
to death.
so
We may
much.
not see each other constantly, but that's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, we still
Oh.
stay connected
100%.
with life in general.
Yeah, I literally have best friends that like one of them I send just reels to all day long.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I have
Like, that's
another
our
best friend that we
communication.
do that.
Yeah.
You know, it's just reels constantly. It's so awesome. We love it.
And I love that you said that you guys met through movement, right?
Yes.
So that was really cool. So tell me, because you're from Mount Juliet or okay.
Born and raised.
Okay. And then from there, was it like, because you met her, I guess, how old were you? Like, were you like, was that?
45.
Okay.
Because I'm
Okay.
51 now.
Okay.
So I guess about 45.
Okay. And so what was kind of the decision to get into movement? Had you always been working out or was
I've
it?
always been a workout person.
Okay.
I've always moved, danced, did something.
Okay.
But I needed to get to where I was at get to another level in fitness or try to move more. And
Yeah.
that's when Burn opened.
Okay.
And I thought, okay, I'm probably going to kill myself doing this, but it's going to be fun. We're going
Yeah.
to love this.
Right.
But I got to meet a whole nother community
Yeah.
of women that go through life of different aspects of their lives,
Yeah.
but want to work out and just
I
be
love that.
together.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about that.
Okay.
And then, like I said, I met Shauna and met so many other women
Yeah.
that encourage you and
I love that so
just want to
much.
move. But I've always worked out, but maybe at Planet Fitness or different aspects, or I
Right.
didn't work out because I need to stay moving for my body, the way
Yeah.
my body is.
Yeah,
So-
no, I love that. And for those who aren't like watching on YouTube or anything like that, like you have a great frame, great build. Like I just love looking at you. Like you're
Thank
so
you.
like so strong.
Thank
And you
you.
walked in, and it was just like a light, and I was like, oh, I love that.
thank you so
And-
much.
of course. And so with that, you said you have a daughter. Do you have any other kids?
I do.
Okay.
So my son is 32.
Okay.
He's got 3 kids, so I have 3 grandbabies.
Okay.
And my daughter is 28.
Okay.
And then my stepdaughter is fixing to be 24, maybe 25. I
Okay.
can't remember, but yes.
Okay, so they're
Yeah.
all kind of like a couple years apart.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So we have this blended family.
Yeah. So
Beautiful.
yeah, I love that. So are you so with them, and everything like that, are they, you said the one danced and then did the other one do any sports, or was it
My
like
son played football
Okay.
when he was younger,
Okay.
through high school, and then he got to where he just don't want to do it no more.
okay. Yeah.
But that's okay because his son, my oldest grandson, he's just turned 11.
Yeah.
You would look at him and think he's 15 because
Oh,
he's
really?
my size.
yeah.
He
Yeah.
wears a size 14 shoe in men.
Oh my goodness.
So he's a hoss of a boy. So he plays football and he loves it. And yeah, we're so I'm living out that like, yes, stay with football, because we're such a
Yes.
sports family.
Okay.
But
got
he
you.
played football and then he got into the business with his father doing heating and air. And then my stepdaughter played softball.
Okay.
So she was constantly moving. So
Yeah.
all my kids have always done something to stay moving
Yeah.
throughout their life too.
Do you feel like that's because like you and like, was it that you and your husband at the time time? Were you both into fitness, or is it like you were the
No.
sole person that did movement?
I mean, my ex did football when he was younger.
Okay.
No, I think it was just, I really don't know. But
Yeah.
the dance part of my daughter, I signed her up, and then we did cheer. And then I was a cheer coach
Okay.
for like probably almost, well, I did it when she was like 5
Okay.
till middle school.
Yeah.
And then when she got in middle school, I also became the assistant cheer coach.
Nice.
And I did that for like 7 or 8 years. And we competed and went to Orlando.
Okay.
And had a really good time. So I've always, and when I say we were active cheer coaches, if you were out, we were the stunt people. Like we were helping. I was the back spot. I was this. So me and this coach, Amy, we were constantly, so I've always been moving no matter what.
I love that.
In my life my life journey.
So important. And I'm sure they picked up on that,
Yes,
so
I think so.
And that's
and I don't think you see it, but then you look back and you're like, oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So.
No, I think it's so important. And I love that so much. So it's so funny because your energy totally gives like that cheer mom, dance mom, like and I think that's like when you walked out, I was like, like there's something. So because I saw on socials, I saw that you just were at like a pageant.
Yes.
So like, what was that? What was that about?
Okay, so my pageant journey, I guess I started when I was like 8 or 9.
Okay.
I had one of my school teachers, her daughter did pageants, and she's like, oh, you should do it. And I was like, okay. So I tell my mom, my dad. They're like, okay. So I started doing pageants. And before you know it, I'm age 11 or 12, and I'm in California for this nationals pageant. And I'm like,
what?
Oh, wow. Yeah, it was awesome. Didn't win. I got first runner up, but that's okay. I still got a crown and trophy for it. I was still having the best time of my life at 11 in California.
Oh my gosh.
And then I stopped. I did them up until I graduated. And then I got married young.
Okay.
And then I had my son very young.
Okay.
So I kind of stopped doing them. But then when I turned 45, I kind of got back into pageants. And
okay. So like now you're judging? Or?
And you would not believe the women, the older women that are doing pageants. It's great. We love it.
So, okay, so explain, because you know that I sponsor Revolutionary Pageant System.
Yes.
And that's a new pageant system. And so that's for like all inclusive. Or like that. So tell me from your perspective, like, so were you, because I know so very little still about the pageant industry, were you like, what organization were you with? Like, what was that like?
Well, they have just small ones throughout, everywhere. But I did miss the Wilson County Fair.
Okay, yes.
And they have a Miss Wilson County, which is age 21 to 59.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
So I did it in 2018.
I love a fair.
I know, right?
I love
and
a
the
fair.
Wilson County Fair is like huge, you know?
Yeah.
So I did it in I did in 2018 and didn't do so well, but I had just lost my mom, going through some life stuff that I just don't think I was mentally prepared and ready to do that pageant. So I did again in 2019 and I won.
Oh my
I was
gosh.
actually the oldest one in that category.
Let's go.
And I won, which was great. I have to tell you.
Yeah, tell me.
This is so funny. So it came to the question, because they have an on-stage question.
Yep.
And it's funny now, but my husband says, as soon as I answered that, he goes, she won it. She just won it. Mic drop.
Oh, no.
So my question was, tell us something unique about you that we wouldn't already know. Because when you're on stage, you answer, they're saying your form of just different things for community service or different things about you.
For sure, yeah.
So I was like, okay. I said, well, about 5 or 6, 7 years ago, I had some friends talk me into doing the arm wrestling competition here at the fair, and I won 2 years in a row. And then I flexed my muscle.
Yes.
And I was like, thank you very much. And everybody was clapping. And I just walked off the stage, and I was like, okay, I just said that.
Yeah.
And I won.
Yes, that's so
And
sick.
my husband said that right there. Got it, because I just showed my personality. I was just who I was.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was great.
Well, and that's something that too, I think people forget about pageants, and like, because even when I was like being asked to like sponsor and stuff, I'm thinking about Miss Congeniality. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And like, they don't realize though the back end of it, like how much there is that you have to do.
Yes.
I mean, from like even like service. I know I'm sure every pageant system is different, but like you have so many service hours and like community outreach and like
it's a lot to it.
appearances, and I mean like. It's wild,
It is. And sometimes people think with pageantry, it's just about the looks. And it's really not.
Right. That's very little.
I am usually the biggest one in my in my division.
Okay.
Because I am just a taller bigger build girl, as that this one person says, "Hey, I'm built different, bro," and I'm everybody's built different.
100%.
I'm built different.
Yes.
But that's okay. I'm okay with that.
Yeah. But it also it provides that difference and that uniqueness.
Yes,
so
it
people
does.
will remember you.
Yes.
And think about like how, because again, how I'm just imagining you on that stage delivering that message and like flexing, like how powerful that was, because it wasn't like you were, not to be like whatever, but like when smaller bodies, will do something, it's not like you're trying to like, you really embodied it. Like
right.
You were
I was proud of myself. I was like, hey, I won the arm wrestling competition. I was excited.
Yeah.
But that was something unique about me that you wouldn't think somebody in pageants does all that.
Right.
They're like, oh, wow. Yeah. And then with different pageants, you have sit down interviews.
Yep.
And some of the judges will talk to you just like me and you are talking.
Yeah.
And I love that, because that's how they get to know you as a person, and they can tell how real you are as a person and your personality.
I love it.
I do a lot of community outreach with different things in Wilson County.
Okay.
And one of them is I'm a hairstylist. So I do a lot of free haircuts for our homeless community.
Love it. Yeah.
And in one of my interviews, I was shocked because they were asking about my different outreach that I do. And I was telling them about that. And I said, it gives them an opportunity to not just tell their story.
Yeah.
But I can sometimes tell my story and let them know that nobody's perfect. We've all been somewhere in life.
Right.
And the one judge looked at me and she goes, well, tell us your story. For a split second, I'm like, ooh, I don't know if I want to go into deep about my story.
Yeah.
But I just explained that I came from, a divorced, I was divorced, I was broken, I made bad choices, and then I changed my life around, through Christ. And that, got me to where I am today and the person I am today. But I won Best Interview.
Yeah, I believe it.
And I was shocked when I got that award for Best Interview. And I was like, okay, because sometimes you don't know how they're going to take it being a Christian.
Yeah.
If they are, they're not,
Right.
And, but still, when I'm judging pageants, you can see the people's personality on stage.
For sure.
There could be she's stunning. She's gorgeous. She's beautiful.
Right.
But you can't see that personality when she walks on that stage.
Right.
But the person that may not be the prettiest has the biggest personality on stage.
Yep.
And until you become a judge and you're looking,
Yeah.
you can't see it until you see it, if that makes any
it
sense
does make
whatsoever.
100%. Yeah. Because with the system that I'm with or whatever, I actually had to judge for like the Miss Love Your Body. And so when I did that, like, I'm looking at all these things, but I'm like, I've never judged something like this before.
Right.
I was always the one that was getting judged, from bodybuilding to dancing competitively, all of that. And so looking up there, I'm like, man, and it's so hard, because I was like, I don't know. It's so hard because you have a split moment. You know what I mean?
Right.
From like the different things, like to put it all together. And then it was like not just mine, but I had other judges and stuff. So it was like the average score. But it was just like, man, this is so wild. And I wish I could have had like one-on-ones with them. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because with that category, they just didn't do that. They did it with all the other ones, but with that one, it was more of like stage presence. They're answering to the question I had asked, like that. But I was just like, oh my goodness. And so I have seen some of those women who who went for it, and like I've watched them grow after that because they didn't get it.
Right.
And so to them, they're crying, they're sad, everything, whatever. But I have watched them flourish after that.
Yeah.
And now seeing their personality come out, now seeing and it's almost like that was kind of what they needed. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Even more so than the ones that won.
Yeah.
And I thought that was
sometimes
beautiful.
you like when I didn't win that Miss Wilson County in 2018. I prepared myself for 2019.
Yeah.
I knew going in, like, okay, if I still don't win, that's okay. But I knew I was in a better place to bring myself to be that winner. And different things with pageantry, too, when you're talking about bodies and different shapes and sizes. A lot of systems nowadays will have, it's called a modern division, which is a size, you're either got to be like a size 14 or 16 and up.
Okay, gotcha.
And some people don't like that. And they're like, well, why would you do that? But then you wouldn't believe the women that will enter.
Yeah.
Because they are bigger.
Yeah.
I mean, my daughter is she's like 6 foot tall, and she's a plus size person, but she is gorgeous.
Yeah.
On the inside and out. But she entered last year, and she, and she's won a couple, and she's done stuff to show that it's okay to be a little bit bigger.
Right.
I'm still up here and I've got this beautiful dress on and everything. So some people don't know how to take that division.
Yeah.
But we do have a lot of women that enter because they will enter.
Right.
Because they feel more confident in being against other women, that are their size,
100%. No, I love that. And I think that too, again, it's like, with what I've seen from the pageant system so far and everything, it's like, people want a place to be celebrated, right? But also for all of their hard work. It's not just about they wore a pretty dress and then they got up there and they, whatever. Yeah. But they're like, and this is the same thing with like bodybuilding, like stepping on that stage, even if you weren't the most lean or whatever it is, coming from somebody that, got last. And so it's like, but you still, it didn't discredit all of the work that had been put in, all of the cardio, all of the, everything like that. Like, and even the suit and all the stuff, that you had to do. And it's just like, so that was like, that's what I love seeing is that them being able to appreciate that even though they don't win or they don't, whatever it is, like they can still be like, man, I did so much for the community. I did so much for, whoever their charity is or all these different things. And they can grow as a person. Yeah. So I do think there's a place for that. And that's great that more systems are opening up that,
Yes. And it's something that people don't realize. In the past, just 3 to 4 years that I've done more pageants. Yeah. I've met so many different women. Yeah. In so many different walks of life. And we have become a great sisterhood. Yeah. And it is beautiful. And I love it because we compete with each other. We sometimes compete against each other. But you know what? We're backstage. Like we're cheering each other on. And it is so much fun. And that's one reason why I do it too. It's fun.
Well, because think about it. Like, and again, me trying to put myself like kind of in your shoes of like, you're in your 50s, right? So
51.
51. So to be like, okay, what can we do? Like, you know what I mean? Like, cause you move your body, you want to have like fun things to look forward to. And this is something that I've been dealing with like injury, right? Of like, not really going to go down the strongman road again, not going to do bodybuilding, so I'm looking at it like, I still want to do something and I have that competitive spirit, right? And as you do. And so it's cool to know that like this is being more accepted. Yes. And something that someone who's listening maybe like, you know what, like that'd be a fun thing for me to try or like a structure or like maybe I want to give back to the community, but like I don't know how, you know what I mean? Yeah. So I think that that's awesome. So with the one that you judged, when did you start judging them? Like, was that recent or was that?
I would say in the past, about 3 years, I started getting asked. Okay. People would just ask they contact me to judge. They see that you've won different titles or they see you in the pageant systems. And so they'll contact you to judge. I've been doing that. I'm actually directing a pageant at the end of March.
What?
Yes.
Okay. What is that?
In Mount Juliet. It's the Miss Green Hill pageant. It's for my grandson's youth football league. All the proceeds go to them. Nice. Yeah, you should be in it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Look at Jason, such a came on today.
You should be in it. It'd be great. There we go. Yeah.
I love a woman that has a plan. I love
that. So I did it last year and we raised some money for the youth league. And I thought, you know what? This was fun. I love being on the other end of directing it. And so I'm in the process of finding, I've got my judges and we're going to have some vendors there. So it's 2 years old and up. Okay. So the oldest category is 60 plus. Oh, nice. That's my biggest category.
Really?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Last year, I think I had 6 or 7. This year, right now, I have 5 in it.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Them senior ladies. Yeah. Girl, let me tell you, they rock the stage.
Yeah, I believe it.
They go all around to do pageants and there's like a group of them and they compete together constantly and they love it. But yeah, so it's just, so I can't tell you how much I love it.
Yeah. So how do people get into it? Like what's the.
Like there's so many pageant groups online that I see that people like, I just sent the information about my pageant because it's just a beginner friendly one. Right. It's just like it's just no fun fashion, no interview. It's just, have fun. Okay. And somebody asked,
what do I have to do?
Yeah. Somebody was like, how do I get into this? Yeah. Doing pageants, give me some good beginners. So I sent my information and I think they're going to join, which is great. And you just click the form, sign up, and.
But like, okay, we show up. Is it like we're in evening gown?
Evening gown. Okay. Yeah, it's evening gown or Sunday. Some people, especially the littler girls, they sometimes wear Sunday best. Just a nice, cute sundress. But usually the teens and up, they wear evening gowns like a prom dress or, you get your hair and makeup done. And who doesn't love getting beautified for the day, getting your hair and makeup done, getting a new dress. Who doesn't? That's one thing. I'm like, hey, I love going dress shopping.
Yeah.
Like, let's go look at some new dresses.
Oh my
I cannot afford it sometimes, but we're going to have fun going shopping and just looking at them,
So tell me, okay, so you go there, and I'm clearly not asking for myself, everyone. So is it just like you have one category, or you have 4 categories, or what's the?
Yeah, so I have 11 divisions.
Okay, wow.
So I think it's like the odor is 22, well, it's 19 to 21, and then 22 to 39.
Okay.
Sorry, 40 to 59, and then 60 plus.
Okay. So in that, then you have these divisions, and then from there, is it like, okay, so is it just like the weekend? Is it a Friday, Saturday?
It's a Saturday. That's
Saturday.
it. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Hey, everyone. Thank you so much for listening and subscribing to the LYB podcast. If you ever have any questions about wanting to train with Dandy Fitness or getting your movement in, please feel free to reach out to Danny at dandyfitness.com, as well as you can follow me on all social media platforms, Dandy Fitness 1.
Hello, I'm Tammy McCormick, and I am a hairstylist in Mount Juliet, Tennessee at Salon G2. And been a hairstylist for about 20 years now. And yeah, that's where you can find me.
So you have the different divisions, and then they show up on a Saturday. And so, like, what happens? Like, is it that you all come out, you do a walk?
No, it's each division.
Okay.
So I usually have tons of volunteers.
Okay.
I usually have to have like probably good 10 volunteers.
Yeah.
There's a few people backstage with me. We have the judges. We have somebody tallying the votes.
Yeah.
Double checking everything.
Okay.
Somebody running the votes to the MC.
Yeah.
So there's like all these behind the scenes people that would not be possible to do a pageant if it wasn't for the volunteers.
100%. Yep.
So I always have like 2 or 3 people backstage. So everybody knows your times that you're going to be on stage. I'll put all that out.
Okay.
On the Facebook group, like, hey, you just be ready by this time.
Okay.
And then once your division goes on,
Yeah.
immediately after, there's crowning for that division.
Oh, okay. So it's literally like you walk out, and is it you just do a walk, or do they interview you while you're out
No,
there?
there's no interview with this one.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just beauty only.
Okay. All
You can
right.
turn in a photogenic picture, for photogenic. And there'll be and then we're doing humanitarian queen, which is the pageant in a whole. Whoever brings in the most items, we're donating for Mount Juliet Help Center.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Which is like non-perishable food items, toiletry items.
Okay.
So just a bunch of wide range of things. So.
Okay. So not only are you fundraising for your sons, like for all that, but you're doing
for Mount Juliet Help Center too.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I love that.
Yep.
So you're hitting like all different.
I'm trying to. Yeah. I'm trying to get some local vendors there, like with the hats that you put the patches on.
Yeah.
I think somebody's going to be there for that.
Okay.
The permanent jewelry.
Yes.
There's
Love
like
a
apple person with lemonade and different treats going to be there. So I'm trying to do some local vendors to be there too and sell some of their items, which helps them.
Yeah.
This one lady, he said, well, how much is it for me to be there? I was like, oh, nothing. I just want you to be there. I want you to be involved, with the community and, sell your stuff and then make money.
Oh, I love that. That's so cool. So tell them again, when is that? March?
It's March 29th.
Okay.
It's in Mount Juliet, Tennessee at West Elementary.
All right.
And it's the Miss Green Hill pageant, the second annual. So
they can just look that up
on Facebook. Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
And if you're interested, we'd love to have anybody.
Yeah.
It's so much fun.
Ah, that sounds
and we'd love to have you. You should do it.
I'm literally just thinking about you got to understand, Tammy. I hate shopping. Like I know you said you love like doing the deal, whatever.
No.
Like I don't even know when I went to the pageant. I was like, look, tell me what I absolutely have to wear. You know what I mean?
Right.
I am so I love. This is gonna sound so ridiculous. I love like the glitz and the glam and all that stuff, but like I would rather be like in a suit that's like bedazzled and whatever, versus a full-on gown and dress and whatever.
It's kind of uncomfortable sometimes.
Yeah, but also
I do
like,
understand.
But then it's also like I don't feel like I've ever gotten like a really nice. Like some of them had like. I mean, I'm talking like thousands of dollars.
Oh yeah,
for the dresses.
They can. Yeah.
I mean, and that would have been cool. You know what I'm saying? So, but it's just like again. That's over my vibe. So it's like, you're going to tell me where the dress shop is.
Right.
You're going to tell me where I got to go.
Well, I'm sure you got tons of viewers. Some of these people may be like, hey, I got a dress that'll fit you. You can just borrow it.
Right.
You never know.
They probably would, honestly.
Yep, there you go.
And
I mean, I'm sure we could hook you up. You know?
I know. Can I get a sponsor?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. No, but that's so awesome. I love that very much. And that's so cool. So besides, with the pageant stuff, like, is there, because you're also a hairstylist, so you own your own business, and you're out at Salon Galleria.
Salon G2, which we're sister from Salon Galleria.
Okay.
Yeah, where Shauna works. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. And how long have you been doing that?
I have been with Salon G2 for about 8 years now, but I've been doing hair almost 20 years. I went to school in my 30s.
Okay.
I was at a point in my life where I was still single.
Okay.
I was sick of corporate.
Okay.
I needed to do something, and I had this house that I bought right after my divorce. Was just the worst mistake I ever made.
Really?
Yes, and lost a
Just
lot of money.
expensive
I trusted somebody that I bought it from.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a good house when,
so stuff started happening and falling
and
apart.
I couldn't afford it, so I lost a lot of money that I put down, which is okay. But I decided to move in with my parents. I said, hey, I need to move in so I can find a place to live, an apartment for me and the kids. They were like, sure, come on in. Their house is small.
Okay.
It's like a little 3-bedroom in Mount Juliet.
Yeah.
So we were crammed in there, but we made it work, you know. And during that time, my mom and dad said, you've always wanted to go to school to do hair. Why don't you do this?
Okay.
And I said, you know what? And I put my 2 weeks notice in, and I started hair school and went to school full time.
I love that.
And I worked part time at Olive Garden, and I actually worked the Titan Stadium.
Okay.
I did that for probably 15 or 16 years.
Okay.
I worked in the suites. I had like 4 suites that I ran, and that made good money, and that's what helped basically pay for my daughter's dance competitions.
Okay, yeah.
Because at one point she was on the high school team and a competition team. So that got kind of pricey, but hey, she was,
What competitive team was she on?
She competed for Platinum Dance in Lebanon, and then with Wilson Central Dance Team.
Okay, cool.
High school.
I danced at Dance Works. I don't know if you remember Murfreesboro.
Yep.
So I did the
She still goes to
there.
Area 54 now, my daughter.
Cool.
Yeah, and she loves it there.
We've probably seen each other or like been around at the same time.
Yeah.
So I love that.
And, but yeah, so I just did it. I went to hair school, and I have never looked back.
Yeah.
And yeah, God's blessed me. I can say that. I love my job. I love what I do. I love my clients, and I love it. I just one of the best decisions I've made. In my life.
Yeah, and so with being an entrepreneur, was there ever a moment though when you were like, first starting out that you were just like, this is, because with clients, and I'm in the same
I think
business.
I was extremely blessed in that aspect because I was older. And I'm born and raised in Mount Juliet, and I was at a salon in Mount Juliet.
Yeah.
I knew a lot of people from cheer coach or dancing.
So you're like, just come on in. Yeah.
Yes. So that really did help me start my business and being a hairstylist. So I was at the point to where within 6 months I was doing commission, and then I said, you know what? I think I'm going to go booth rent.
Yeah.
And I would never, like the lady told me, she goes, well, you're never going to make it. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And I did make it.
Exactly.
And I'm thriving.
Oh,
I
love that.
And I love it.
I love the confidence. It's like, yes, that's exactly right.
And and I'm not perfect. Nobody is.
Right.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
So.
Oh my goodness. I love that. And so, thank you for sharing all of that. And I do want to touch on, so when you went back to your parents' house, right? So did you get a lot of like, I don't know, judgment from others, or was there anything like that? Or were people just kind of like, whatever?
I don't even think I even thought about it.
Yeah. That's
I
awesome.
just like, hey, this is what I have to do to make it right now.
Yeah.
And
because
to be able to better my future and go to school.
Right. Because so this time you had 2 little kids.
Well, they were in middle school.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. And this was because the husband that you had been married to before, you met in high school.
Yes, we met in high school.
Okay.
And we got married right. I was actually pregnant with my son when I graduated. We found out probably 2 months before I graduated that I was pregnant.
Yeah.
I was in the hospital. We had a car wreck, which it wasn't serious, thank God. But they asked me, do you think you could be pregnant? Because they need to do x-rays. And I said, yes, I think I am.
Yeah.
And I found out, and I was like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? But we decided to get married. Okay. We were young. Yeah. And we were married 13 years. Okay. But it was just not the best. So I'm just going to keep it at that for right now.
Yeah, I gotcha. No worries. And then now you're remarried?
I am.
Okay. That's great. So, and your husband, is he,
he's the best.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. You're okay.
Yeah. I went from somebody that wasn't to somebody that just worships the ground I walk on, and I'm very blessed to have him.
Oh, that's amazing.
So we were fixing to celebrate 10 years.
Okay. So, and
Yeah.
how did you meet him?
We actually were friends before. While my daughter was in dance years ago,
Yeah.
I was actually like a dance teacher. I just did like beginner dance, like beginner jazz dance stuff. And his daughter, my stepdaughter Sydney, was in my class.
Okay.
And I remember then I had just became divorced.
Okay.
And I remember seeing him, and I thought, ooh, who's that guy?
He got your eye.
I remember seeing, who's that guy? And we kind of met and just became friends.
Yeah.
And just went through life, went our separate, never talked really or whatever, but we always just remained friends.
Yeah.
And then I remember getting a friend's request on Facebook from him when Facebook, you gotta love Facebook.
Yep.
And we chit-chatted some, and I started cutting his hair.
Okay.
But I was still dating people. He was still dating.
Yeah.
But we always just talked,
Yeah.
And then one day, I guess, so I was friends with his ex-wife too.
Oh, okay.
And she was fixing to get married.
Okay.
And I guess I was at a point I was single, and I always thought he was attractive.
Yeah.
And I knew I was going to be at the wedding because I was doing hair and makeup there.
Oh, okay.
And I knew he was going to be there too.
Okay, yes.
I was like, so, you're single still, right? And he was like, yeah, I guess. He was just trying to play it off.
Yeah.
I was like, so are you going single?
Oh.
And he goes, yeah, I think I'm going by myself. I said, well, it's a great place to pick up, maybe a new girlfriend or something. I was trying to hint.
Right. No, you got to say it.
Yeah.
You got to say it. They cannot pick
And
up on hints.
we get to the wedding, we do hair. I do hair and makeup all day. And and I see him, and he's with the girl that he was broken up with, but not really, I guess. And I'm looking at him like, I remember going, what?
Yeah.
He's like, looking at me. I was like, okay, When I guess it was maybe a month later.
Yeah.
Or maybe even before then. Well, maybe a year before that, he started coming to church. I constantly, I tell people all about my church, and everybody knows I go to church. I'm super, I'm religious, and how God has just changed my life.
Yeah.
And he had told his ex and her husband about it, or before fiance at the time, and they started coming. Well, they were out of town, and Sydney, my stepdaughter, said, hey, I got to go to church, and he was like, oh, I don't know, And she had said, which I found out later, well, Tammy's going to be there. And he was like, oh, okay, yeah, we'll go to church.
Wow, okay.
And I remember I was singing in choir, and I remember seeing him come in church, and I remember just like, oh, Jim's here.
Yeah.
I just had that little something in my head. I was kind of excited.
Yeah.
Well, fast forward after his ex's wedding and kind of like, hinting around.
Yeah.
His ex texted me one day, and she goes, are you still single? And I said, yeah, why? She says, you have a secret admirer, somebody that has the biggest crush on you. And I was like, really?
Yeah.
She goes, oh, yeah, he's got a great job. He's nice looking, and he has the best 13-year-old daughter ever. And then I knew.
Yeah.
I said, would this be Jim, my friend, your ex-husband? She goes, yeah, maybe. Are you interested? I said, I might be.
I can't believe she's setting this up.
I know.
Okay.
Which he tells me, he was like, oh, we were at the orthodontist with Sydney, and I was telling her, And I'm like, okay, babe. But it was like 2 days later, I seen him at church on a Wednesday night, and I was busy, and he was busy, and he kind of left, and I didn't get to talk to him. But that night, I sent him a message. I said, hey, I was trying to talk to you.
Yeah.
He goes, you was? I said, yeah, I was just going to see what you were doing and say hi. And then we went out on a breakfast date a week later.
Okay.
And we've been together ever since.
Wow, I love a good love story. That was so beautiful. Thank you for sharing that.
And he is my best friend, and it's great. I mean, nobody's perfect. No relationship is perfect,
right.
but we have learned to communicate.
Yeah.
And it's great. Like he, it doesn't matter how much weight I've gained.
Yeah.
He loves it.
Yeah.
Like
he's here for you, all of you.
Oh my goodness. He tells me, he goes, I come from a long line of men that love women with big butts. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm perfect for you then.
No, but I think it's so beautiful because, just finding a man who accepts you for all parts, And
especially when you didn't have that before.
Yeah.
It's like a 180 of a different person.
Right.
When you were still the same person, you were, and I was even smaller back then.
Right.
because I was younger. I didn't have all the surgeries, and that's another thing. I mean, just the surgeries that I've had to have and the way my body is, he totally said, like, hey, let's get whatever you need. He's always there for me, no matter what.
As a true partnership. Yeah, that's amazing. Yep. So what surgeries are you talking about?
I've already had knee replacement. Okay. I just don't have good bones. I've realized that. And that's one reason why I've had to make the decision not to really do the hardcore fitness. Yeah. But I just have to keep moving with my body. Just my mom and my dad both have osteoarthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, and different things. So my genetics aren't the greatest. And before my mom passed away, her bones were so brittle and just broke so easily. And I think seeing that, I just don't want to be... I want to try to stay healthy. For sure. But I just had back surgery 6 weeks ago.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, spinal fusion surgery.
Okay, what had happened?
I just have a bad back.
Okay. So it just was giving you pain constantly?
I couldn't walk, Carly. I was at work struggling. I was living my life at 50%. Okay. And I couldn't do it no more. But in August of last year, I had to get my shoulder fixed. Okay. I had a bicep repair and my clavicle bone and some bone spurs that were tearing into my labrum. Oh, man. So I had to get it fixed. Yeah. And then my back got 10 times worse to where I was barely moving. Okay. And so I have to take, calcium, collagen, vitamin D. Yes. I have to take all the stuff. Yeah. And I can tell if I don't move. Yes. Yeah. Because and my doctors have told me, you can't do the hardcore workouts like you're used to doing and what I love doing. Yeah. But you need to work out because if I don't, it will be so bad for my body.
Right. And that's what I think so many people have such a misconception of. They think that when you're injured, you shouldn't move. You need to sit down, whatever. And I try to tell people all the time, I'm like, you are only perpetuating more pain for yourself. Yes. And again, it's because the whole thing of, I've lived it. I know it. I mean, with my back as well and injuries and stuff, it's just I tell them, I was like, go for a walk, do something. You gotta get up. You gotta do something.
And just like when I had my knee replacement, you are walking.
Yeah.
After surgery. Yeah. You were bending your knee. You have to do it. Yes. And it's painful. Yeah. But I was on bone. Yeah. With my knee. It was so bad. So I was 46 and I had a total knee replacement. Jeez. Is it 100%? No. Right. Will it ever be 100%? No. Right. But it's a lot better than what it was, But now I got my back fixed. I got my shoulder fixed. Yeah. I do feel like a new woman. Yes. So I've put on 25 pounds in the past year because of the surgeries. And, when you're in pain like that, right. And I choose not to do pain pills. Correct. Yeah. Because growing up, my mom was a pill addict. Mm-hmm. And I have that in my head. So I choose not to drink. I choose not to do the pills to make my life just better because those things harm your body too. For sure. Yes. And so doing that, I feel like food was my little bit of comfort.
100%. Yeah.
Yes. So putting on a little bit of weight has, but in a way too, I feel my body, it does make my knees and things hurt a little bit more. Mm-hmm. So it's not that I need to be skinny. Right. I just need to be healthy.
Yes, exactly.
And there's a huge difference, and I don't think people realize that.
No, they don't. And it's so hard because it's oh man, there's so many comments that I get daily from people that everything relates back to what size they are. You know what I mean? Yes. And I even I was talking to a girl at the chiropractic, where I go get my chiropractor, work and done and everything. And I was sat there and I looked at her and I was like, yeah, because the worst thing that can happen is a woman being overweight. Right. Doesn't matter that she can't see out of her eye. Doesn't matter their back's messed up. It doesn't matter about those things. But if she's overweight, now we have an issue. Mm-hmm. Now there's a problem, right? Right. And that's the perpetuating just nonsense that it has surrounded, and me and Sean have talked about this, many times when she spray tanned me, whatever, of how frustrating it is just to still hear women and just see how negatively they view their bodies and how they see themselves because they are at a certain weight or because whatever, or because they haven't got back to, I hate hearing that. I gotta get back to this or I gotta get whatever. And it's you're a different body than you were then. Oh yeah. And this body, you're talking about the knee, the back. It is. Yes. So you can't look at it as, okay, when I was doing this and I was 18 years old, 20 years old.
Right. It's totally different.
Exactly. And so and again, we're not saying that this is easy by any means. It's a hard to, kind of pave that path, and it's all new, and it can be scary.
Right.
But again, it's just like being able to love yourself throughout that journey and being like, okay, where am I at today? Like if something's a little tight, okay.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like, okay, can I make a different choice with a food option? Can I make sure to go get, 12,000 steps in, whatever it might be, to continue to keep feeling good and feeling good. And my biggest thing has always been that, like, when I tell people, they'll be like, oh, well, you just like love movement. I'm like, that still doesn't mean that I want to get up out of bed and go do the movement every day.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, and so there's a difference. The difference is that I know how I'm going to feel after, and I also know how I feel if I don't do it.
Right.
And I'm sure you feel the same way, because you deal with clients and stuff all day long. So it's like you're listening to all their stuff every day, and that's a lot.
My therapist, a lot of the times, trust me.
Yes, no, you are.
It's so
you
true.
And me both.
I told somebody one time, I said, I feel like I'm a Catholic priest sometimes. They confess all sins sometimes, but
and that and the LYB, like,
yes,
I don't say nothing. Like,
it can get right.
Yeah. And so, like, how do you?
But I do hear a lot of, like, especially the big mirror, because I have a room that I don't have a station.
Okay.
I have a big mirror.
Yeah.
So I put them in the chair, and I put the cape around them, and of course I turn them around, and people are looking at themselves the whole time.
Yeah.
Just about. And they're like, oh, I hate looking at myself.
Yeah.
I'm like, why?
Right.
You look beautiful. Well, I don't have any makeup on. I said, well, I don't have, and sometimes I'll go to work.
Yeah.
It's just some foundation, maybe some powder. I got my lashes already done. So it's just like, this is what you get today.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you look beautiful.
Yeah.
Like, you're fine. What are you talking about? Well, I need to go home and get ready and then really see how my hair looks. I'm like, well, the hair color is going to look the same with or without.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
And they're like, no, but I don't know if you've ever, like, but I hear that a lot.
Oh, for
like,
sure.
I love it, but, once I get my makeup on,
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, you'll love it some more. I get it, but that's fine.
Yes.
But I do hear that a lot.
Well, and I think that's too, it's such a bigger issue because it's the whole thing of not like some people think that, when I talk about like loving your body or whatever, especially like men and stuff that watch my Instagram, it's like sometimes that they get like a skewed view of whatever. And I'm like, you don't realize, like I even had a woman actually message me earlier today, and she said, like, she was asked about the Love Your Body initiatives, and she said, how is it, like, are there really that many women that don't have anything that they love about themselves? And I'm like, yes.
Oh, yeah.
And I was just like, I don't know how that's not clear to everyone.
Yeah.
And I think because they're so desensitized to what actual real confidence is in a woman, but also what actually it looks like for a woman to talk positively about themselves without looking at them as arrogant or beautiful or like overdoing it. You know what I mean? Just like whatever. And it is so frustrating because if you ask probably, if you're listening to this right now, if you ask a friend, you ask your mom, you ask your daughter, whoever, to look at themselves in the mirror, 9 times out of 10, they're going to be like, oh, they just look for a brief second and then they never look at themselves.
Right.
And I didn't look at myself for a while growing up because with dance, it was just it's so weird, right? When I was dancing competitively, that was the only place that I looked at myself in the mirror when I had put on my weight. So like I had my back injury. So I was marking through all the dances. But like right before that was at the peak of dance. I was going to conventions. I was winning stuff, everything. And then I got sick and I ended up having, had acid reflux, went on some steroids to help with that for way too long. Food wasn't good. We ate like, nonsense. Right. And I'm sitting there and then also I can drive now. So now we're going to McDonald's. So like it all hit the same time.
Yes.
So for those few years, I even had a dance room. I had a big mirror. I was like not looking at it. Yeah. And it was only when I was dancing, sweating, and moving my body that I felt valuable to like look at myself in the mirror. And that is why movement is so important to me.
Is.
You know what I mean?
And when you say that, and speaking of dance, I always go back and I think of my daughter.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've met my daughter.
I don't think I have.
Michaela. So like I said, she's a bigger girl, and she'll be like, yeah, I don't care. Yeah. Like, she's 6 foot, so she's taller.
Yeah.
But even back in high school, I remember one day, and she's a phenomenal dancer, hip hop, everything. She's really good.
Yeah.
And one of the moms, or maybe I think it was this girl's grandmother, her daughter's on the dance team. Okay. She was getting her hair done like 2 days later.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh yeah, the pep rally, they did so good. I was like, yeah. She goes, I was just like watching Michaela, and I'm just like, wow, she can really move. She's so good. I was shocked. And I'm like,
yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Why? And she goes, well, and I don't think she wanted to say it, but Correct. It's because she's bigger.
Yes.
And so now TikToks came. And in 2020, the COVID and everything, she got on TikTok. Mom, let's get on TikTok. Let's do dances and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, there was just one part. It was a challenge. Okay. And I forget the name of the song, but it was a handstand challenge.
Okay.
She did it.
Yeah.
You would not believe the views that she got.
Oh, man.
It went viral, instantly, 30 million views.
Okay.
I'm saying huge.
Yeah.
So now she's on TikTok and she dances.
Okay. I love that.
And she's but she loves it. And you would not believe sometimes she does get the hate comments and she's like, whatever. She blows it off. She could care less. But there was a lady that commented not too long ago, my daughter seen your video. Mm-hmm. And she goes, Mom, look, she's built like me. Yeah. And she can dance too, and I want to dance like her. Yeah. That brought my daughter to tears. She goes, this is why I do this. Yeah. Because she is confident in who she is. Right. She's like, hey, yeah, maybe I could lose a little bit of weight, but it's okay because she's still moving. Yes. And that's what, and she dances almost every day on TikTok. Right. And she loves it. Oh my gosh, I love that. But and that's the reason why she does it, is to show other people that it's okay with your size. Right. Just do something. Do it. If you want to dance, then dance,
Exactly. Yeah. I love that so much. You'll have to show me once we get off because that'd be amazing to see. And I've probably seen her. I'm trying to picture her still, but I probably, like I said, Area 54 and stuff like that. But that's the thing that people don't realize is when there's not representation, you can't, when I was growing up, there wasn't the Danny Spiegels or that just didn't look the stereotypical way of fitness, right? Mm-hmm. And so for me, it was I didn't have anybody to look up to. There's a picture I put up on my story the other day of me with my little cousins, and I'm taller than them, I'm bigger than them, but I wasn't big, but I just had a different build. Right. And so, to see these women now, being so strong and things like that, it's this is why it's so important to document your journey and to show people, because it's that's such a beautiful moment with that. And I definitely feel that on so many levels, because with Dandy Fitness, that's the whole mission. That's the whole point of this, And it wasn't to become inspirational or anything like that, but really it was just a document for my own self to hopefully kind of find people that maybe look like me or had some struggles like me. Or when I literally would sit there when girls would go to try on clothes in each other's closet, and I'm sitting down there with the guys talking. Right. No one even asked me if I want to come up and try the clothes, because I knew why bother, Yeah. And but that's, again, guys, listening, that's been me at any size though. Yeah. I've never really been able to share clothes with people, even at my smallest.
I didn't too much either, because I was always taller and just the thicker, bigger bone, type girl. I've always been that way with most of my friends. Right. And I'm okay with that.
Exactly.
I love who I am, and I just...
And that's where we have to have more, people talking about this and helping, people to understand that it's okay. Mm-hmm. It's okay. Because if someone would have looked at me at 15 and just come up to me and hugged me and been like, it's okay. Mm-hmm. Right. I mean, I don't even know. You know what I mean? Because I was, I've always been religious. I've always had a relationship with God. And so for me, I'm sitting there being I know I'm supposed to dance, but it's making some people mad that I'm so good, or that, you know what I mean, at this size, and they don't understand.
They don't understand.
But I know I'm supposed to do this. So why am I battling with this? I mean, and sitting in a car and just crying for, hours sometimes, because I was just no matter what I did, if I drank water or if I drank whatever, or if I was eating, there was always a comment. Yeah. There's always something. And this is another thing too, and I don't know if you've dealt with this too, but or if if your daughter's dealt with this, but it sounds like with the comments she's dealt with on TikTok, she probably has, but when a smaller body does something, or let's say eats pizza, right? Yeah. It's oh, look at her, that's sexy, that's whatever. Yeah. And you have a larger body eat the pizza, and it's how dare they? Yeah. How? Ugh, I'm disgusted. And it's you know what I mean, though?
Yeah. I think Michaela, when she had that video go viral, and she had a lot of bad comments of oh my gosh, why? She had hateful comments of, well, it's wonderful the wall didn't fall down. Just different things that. Mm-hmm. But I think she did a comment back and did something. It's I'm stronger than you. Right. Yeah. I mean, for me doing this, and I'm able to do this, let's see you do a handstand. Yeah. Let's see you do the splits, or let's see... You can't do it. And that's what she puts out there. Right. It's harder for me to do these things because of my size, but I'm doing it.
Exactly.
And that's what she likes to let people know, like, it's okay. But it's harder, and I didn't grow up doing dance and sports like she got to. And I think that's why I put so much trying to work and making sure my kids got to do those things because I didn't have that opportunity. Yeah. Because my mom was sick a lot. So I really had to I was kind of a caregiver growing up. And, which is fine. I wouldn't change my life for the world. This was meant for me to do. And I think it's mold me into that person too of who I am, And and
help you excel in everything.
It has, but I think I instilled that in both of my kids, and that aspect of me into her. Right. And now, me and my stepdaughter have gotten super close. She's fixing to get married.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So we're helping plan a wedding. Yeah. And that's been great because I feel like she has seen that part of me too. That I'm, instilling in her too. So, which is good,
and it's beautiful. And more, there needs to be more role models, for our younger girls, especially. And that's like something for me, so I'm trying to get more into speaking engagements. Mm-hmm. And so, I have my book that I can help with How to Love Your Body Throughout. And it's I have, Love Your Body worksheets now. I have Love Your Body activities. Mm-hmm. I have a presentation. I'm just ready if anybody wants to have me out. Because I think that, again, if there would have been someone come to me before competition or come to the dance studio to talk to us, and
it would have made a huge difference.
It would have made it. If you haven't yet checked out How to Love Your Body Throughout on Amazon, please go do so. It is my passion project. It is something that is so special, and it's a tool and guide to help you love yourself more throughout your journey. Whether you're in a bodybuilding prep, whether you're a mom of 4, or you're someone that's just looking to love the body that they're in right now, I highly encourage you to check out the book on Amazon, as well as you can reach out to me with any questions. And if you're able to share this with a friend or loved one, please do, and help supporting the mission to help everybody love their body throughout their journey. Huge difference. And so, I'm looking at trying to get into after school programs, so with some of the dancers and cheerleaders. So if you know anybody, please let me know. But would love to come speak, because I do think that right now, especially, again, it's great to have moms and, aunts and people like that to, talk to younger girls and stuff too. But it's I feel like I'm at such an opportune, time in my life to be able to help them, to where it's look, I'm not so far gone from it. I danced in college and whatever. Yeah. So I feel where you're at, but also you know what I mean? I don't have kids of my own yet. And so I feel like I could kind of be that sister, to come in and be hey, look, I know what you're going through. Yes. I've panicked backstage too. I've not felt comfortable. I've the tights cutting into me. I get it. And just being able to be hey, here's the thing. Let go of comparison. Homegirl over here, whatever it is, because that's a lot of that industry, dancing, cheerleading. I mean, why did she get the part? And I had to bust my tail I took every class possible. I did everything you could possibly do, from the contemporary to tap to hip hop to pre-point to point, everything. And I did extra lessons because I knew that because of my size, that there was maybe some issues, or I was taller, so I'd be in the back, right? Yep. Always in the back. And I just knew that I was but if I'm one that can do a flip, who's getting the front?
My daughter could do the tumbling and stuff too. But speaking about the being in the back, one time she got the main part for one of their competitions. Yeah. It was all these Beyonce songs, and she came out solo and did the dance in front of them. Yeah. That phone call, when she found out that she got one of the main Beyoncés, because there was 3 different ones. Yep. She was like, Mom, they picked me. They picked me. I'm because you bring it on stage. It doesn't matter your size. Yes. You are confident. They see you. You're good. You are good. And that's why they picked. Yeah. But that right there just made her the whole season. For sure. Of I was one of those Beyonce.
100%. And it's just a game changer. And it is oh man, it's so important to, like I said, to have people that they can look up to and that they can see and be look, we've been through it. We understand. And this is how the world is, but we're trying to change that. Right. And so every person that sits in your chair, every person,
and everybody is built different. And I go back to, like I said, with my grandson right now, he's going through that because he just turned 11 and he's built like a 15-year-old. Yeah. He's a hoss of a boy. Right. But that's just the way he's built, and he can't help that. Exactly. And if people heard his weight, they'd be like, right. Oh my God, he's obese. He's this. Yeah. Yeah, he's a little bit chunky, but he's still 11. Yeah. But he's not built like your normal 11-year-old. Right. that's it, but if he was 15 or 16 playing football, fixing to go in high school,
he'd be celebrated.
You'd be like, oh yeah, look at, he's awesome. Da-da.
Right.
So you don't, so we try to keep him positive.
Yes.
And good you're like, hey, it's okay. You're tall. And he is. I mean, I went to eat lunch with him.
Yeah.
They're walking down the hallway and here comes his class. Here's Jackson.
Yeah.
Like they're at his shoulders and he's just, hey, Gammy.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Country boy with the mullet, he's like, hey, Gammy,
I love that.
And he's a hoot, but I know as he gets older, it's going to be hard for him.
Yeah.
Because he's just going to get taller and bigger.
Yeah.
And he's going to, it's going to be harder for him to move in football than it is. And you can see him when he plays football, he's hesitant to tackle those smaller boys.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Jackson, he goes, well, I don't want to hurt nobody.
Right.
And I love that he's got that in him because he knows, okay, I'm bigger, I'm this, and I don't want to hurt nobody. I'm like, I know, but it is football, give it a little,
Yeah.
So, but he's trying to navigate life through being that taller and bigger boy.
Yeah, and seen as different.
Yes.
And it's so interesting because I feel like in a world where everyone wants to be seen as like special and different, they still turn it into, oh, but like you're different, so like that's a negative, or you know what I mean?
Because he gets called out a lot for needing the birth certificate.
Oh.
And it's embarrassing to him.
Yeah. Well, and I get it because my nephew, he kind of lacks some like self-esteem and stuff. Yeah. And I don't know who told him at whatever age it was that he wasn't attractive or what. I don't know. I genuinely don't know. And, I'm one of their, aunts of three aunts that they have to where it's like, they can look at me and be like, okay, you're strong, you're successful, you have all these things going for you. Right. And like, you can love yourself at any size. So it's like, I try to just continue to instill that in them, either boy or girl, like my nieces and nephews, because again, instead of saying that like, oh, like, one of my nieces is like, oh, you're so pretty all the time, because that's what everyone says to her. Right. She is, she's beautiful, but I'm like, okay, but you're so strong. Look at that gymnastics like you did. Like that was so great, and because the other one hears that. Yeah. And she's older, but she looks different. But it's like, she's still pretty in her own way. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So it's like,
and everybody is everybody's beautiful in their own way.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's going back to pageants. That's the way it is too.
Yeah.
Everybody has their own personality. Everybody has their own look, and it's just different.
And it should be celebrated. And so I definitely am going to check that out. And thank you for letting me know about the pageant. And because it's so funny, Tish always says, she's like, you should do a pageant. Like, she's like, if you would have done like the past one that I went to and helped with and sponsored, she's like, if you would have done this, like you would have won it. Like, and I was like, oh, well, thanks. I don't know what I'm doing, but like, thank you for that,
Well, and I do like with this one, I have so many girls and moms like, well, they don't know how to walk. And I have a walk clinic.
Oh, nice.
And I'll go through and like, I don't charge anything. I just want to help everybody. Yeah. I have people all the time like, will you help me? I'm like, yeah, sure. I love coaching. Yeah. Like being that person like, oh yeah, let's walk. Let's do this. So I love it.
Well, yeah, you're like their cheerleader for, I mean, literally like,
I'll always be a cheerleader at heart.
Yeah. But I love that. And we need more of that. And so thank you so much for coming on today and telling me more about your story.
This was great. I love it.
Right. So no stress, right?
Yeah, no. I mean, at first I was like, what am I getting into? But it was great. I love it. I love your outlook of life and your body positivity. I love that because every woman needs that. We may not feel like we feel fluffy sometimes, but we got to embrace the fluff, I feel like, and just as long as you're moving and being who you are on the inside, that's what counts. So,
well, that was beautiful. Thank you so much, Tammy. I appreciate you so much. And let me ask you a question real quick. Yeah. Since we're on that note, what is something that you love about your body?
Oh, well, I love my dimples. I can say that. Yes. I love my dimples. But I will say, I think I love that I am taller and curvy. Yeah. I embrace my curves. Even though I may be fluffy in areas, I'm okay with that. But I think that I love that I am this size. Yeah. Because I'm just uniquely made. Yeah. In so many ways.
100%.
And I like that even though my weight's a certain way, it's just not like I tell people and they're like, there's no way you weigh that. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm just a stronger. Right. I'm just curvier. I got a bottom, I got this, and
also positive things. Like,
and I try to embrace my curves.
Yeah.
And I think that I am lucky that I do have that little bit of like the smaller waist and different things. So I love that about my body. So I don't love my bones sometimes and how I ache with the arthritis, but all in all, I love my body.
Yeah.
So.
And I love that. And exactly what you said, it's not about loving your body doesn't mean that you love every single aspect of every single part of it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, everyone listening, like that you can find one thing that you love about yourself. And so I just thank you so much for sharing. And this was beautiful. And I'd love getting to know you more. So this was great.
This has been awesome. I loved it.
Oh, thanks, girl. Until next time, you guys.